The government shutdown made a big problem worse for many Central Floridians. Today on Central Florida Spotlight, we will look at a group that's year-round effort is to help those who need a helping hand, and maybe now more than ever. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Central Florida Spotlight. Today, we are talking with United Against Poverty Orlando, better known as Up Orlando, and some of their partners. This nonprofit has become a cornerstone of empowerment, hope, and opportunity right here in Central Florida. The organization's purpose is simple but powerful: to inspire and empower individuals and families to lift themselves to sustainable economic self-sufficiency. As the community need for Up Orlando's vital programs continues to grow, so does the importance of strong partnerships and sustainable funding. Today, we hear from leaders and community members who are tackling these challenges head-on, including Anjali Vaya, Executive Director of United Against Poverty. And Anjali, we're so glad that you're with us today. And in that intro, we laid out this mission, and it's a tough hill to climb at times, but thankfully you're there helping us.
Yes, Greg, and thank you for this. You know, here at United Against Poverty, I say that it's all about the clients, and the individuals that we're serving are the LS population, which is the working poor as well. Mm-hmm. And as you know, with the current cost of living of Central Florida, it is very hard to make your ends meet. It takes one emergency or an instance in any one of these family households, and they fall into a spiral. And it's in that spiral that United Against Poverty, you know, the name comes up through the many entities and partnerships that we have around Central Florida, where they find us and they come to us for one of our first pillars, which is food insecurity. Mm-hmm. In order for you to qualify to become a member here, you have to be under the 200% federal poverty level. What does that mean? That means that a family of four making less than $60,000 or an individual making less than $33,000 would qualify to utilize all of our programming. The grocery center, our model is a hand up. That means that you can come in as many times as you want and pick out the groceries that you need for your family to put nutritious food on the table. Could be fruits and vegetables and cereals and the little things that your kids like. And it could be the grandmother. We do see a lot of families that they come in and they'll pick up groceries that could add up to about $120, you know, at a traditional grocery center that they can pick out at Up for just close to $20 to $23.
It's a beautiful thing. So, of course, with the government shutdown, people didn't have paychecks, many of them also concerned about their SNAP benefits. Yes. I would think that, as you mentioned, that's another obstacle. That's another thing that has now happened in many people's lives. Have you felt the ripple of that?
Yes. This past 2 weeks have been extremely stressful for the clients as well as for our staff as well, because we're seeing lines wrapping around the center as families are struggling, and it's even new members that are signing up into the program that are just having such a difficult time right now. And also just the anxiety that we're feeling with the staff of, will I be able to make the ends meet come Saturday, you know, as we turn into a new month? And what is Up going to do in that? We're having to pay out as well. And no, we're not going to be charging the individual the cost of the retail item. There is that 60 to 70% that they're going to need that break to be able to they're going to need it even more right now to be able to pay their bills on their rent, on medical, to get to work, on transportation, to many other needs. So as a community, through this through this tough time, I am seeking support from every angle, whether you're corporate America, whether you are in private, whether you can even volunteer with us, because my staff is overwhelmed on site as well with just the number of individuals that we're serving that has increased drastically within this last month.
In this program today, we're going to talk not just about the food assistance and that helping hand that now is needed maybe more than ever. Talk about other programs that are available, and thank you for all that you've done, and we hope that the staff will feel encouraged by Central Florida responding to this television show.
Thank you so much.
All right. Up next, Up Orlando's innovative hand up, not handout model is helping to change the face of poverty in Central Florida. We will talk about the public-private partnership and look at some incredible programs offered now. Programs like their member share grocery, crisis stabilization, and success training employment program. That's next. Welcome back to Central Florida Spotlight. Today, we look at Up Orlando and how its importance has grown dramatically in Central Florida as families are facing rising housing costs, food costs, and challenges finding stable employment. Up Orlando doesn't do this work alone. They collaborate with an incredible network of community partners, including the City of Orlando and Orange County. City of Orlando Commissioner Sharon Rose, District 5, is here, and Orlando's effort with Up Orlando, Shan, is so important, I would think, for your constituents there in your district.
It really is. I'm grateful for the partnership and all the work that they do. It isn't just about a handout and here's some groceries. It's about really uplifting and changing lives. I had the pleasure this summer to work with them with their mobile prosperity program, where they brought a food truck out for not just, box groceries, but some really, really good groceries to last in the household, as well as fresh produce. But not just that, it was the resources. And so getting to the root cause of what caused you to come and need these groceries. So do you need a better job? Do we need to help you with maybe rental assistance? Are you staying with someone and you need to find a new place? And so being able to just do full wraparound services is what Up is really good at doing.
Yeah, not just handing out groceries that week and then that person's on their own. And I think that's what I most noted as I researched to do this program today, is that full circle of helping people at this moment, at their next moment, and continue to know that you are there for them.
Definitely. And I would say Up has, so they're about seasons and what other seasons are coming up. So we were able to do a partnership, but we were also able to do a Christmas and Thanksgiving partnership. And I'm grateful for Angeli and all of her staff understanding, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and saying, how can we help them? And if this were me, what would I need? And how do we improve and impact lives?
So one of my questions, and I don't want to get this wrong because I think this is at the crux of what you're talking about. Why is it so vital to provide crisis navigation and employment training directly within the communities that you're serving?
So sometimes a lot of folks may not have transportation. A lot of folks may not be able to navigate, and specifically where Up's building is. So how do I get there? What bus do I take? So being able to really meet people where they are as they're going through a crisis, it's life-changing, and and the impact that they provide, we're forever grateful for it.
You use the word forever, and we'd like to be optimistic and think that this problem's going away, but it's not. And so when you saw what Up Orlando is doing, and many of the people that are receiving those services are in your district, I'm certain that's why you threw your full support behind them.
Definitely, and there's also opportunity to volunteer. So, you get a lot of students. So you get people to say, I want to be able to give back. I've experienced that. And so that partnership, I enjoy the partnership. It's amazing to get up every day and think of how do you change someone else's lives. So I enjoy the partnership and I look forward to it.
Do you have any particular stories that really warm your heart and motivate you more about people within your district or outside that have been uplifted?
So when we participated this past summer with groceries, it was just the impact of the kids wanting to say, the thank yous and the hugs. And, some of it is tears. So sometimes some people, their pride holds them back from really getting the help that they need, and they're suffering in silence. And so getting a phone call, thank you, Miss Shan, because I didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. I just happened to walk in, and you guys were taking walk-ups through this program. So just the life stories. I think the most impactful is I didn't know where my next meal was coming from, and this opportunity, and then they even helping me to get better employment opportunities. I was like, okay, so we're doing something right.
And I think that you really hit the nail on the head. Pride sometimes stands in the way, does it not?
It does. Being able to say, I need help. A lot of folks are living in that silence of they need help, they're scared. Whether it's someone who wants to do better for themselves and say, well, I'm too old. And then sometimes you got to say, well, age isn't just a number. You can start a new life and a new path and a new career at any point in your life. So being able to say, I think for us, and I think all of us can say that when we're out here as servants, is that being able to convince a person, if I can impact others, I can help you as well. So definitely put your pride aside and come and receive the services that are available.
Yeah, in this day and age of so much divisive politics, to remember that at the bottom, the top really, that you're supposed to be servant leaders. And so serving the community, especially those that they got nowhere else to turn, that has to feel like you're getting it done.
That, and it's just a reward that I'm able to connect with people who sometimes wouldn't normally come out, and being able to have them build those relationships that they can also help others, and they can share the knowledge and the information that we're impacting lives every day is what's most important, and what's, I think, for me, the most rewarding.
Jan, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. All right, up next, more with UP, including programs that may help you or someone you know and love. Next. Welcome back to Central Florida Spotlight. There are all sorts of charities for different causes across our area, but the one thing that many of these do is provide a helping hand. Today, we are looking at Up Orlando's efforts to put tools in your hands so you can help yourself. Success Training Employment Program, or STEP, provides real working solutions that help empower folks to get back on their feet and into economic prosperity. Lamont Gwynn, STEP graduate, workforce, Up Orlando Success Training Employment Leader. I love the name 2-STEP because it is a step that someone has to take. They have to take their first step, but you're there for step 2, 3, 4, and beyond, right?
Exactly. The one thing that I love about the program and what's been a part of this discussion has been, it's not a handout. So it's a helping hand up. And when you walk through the doors of Up Orlando, it is not about what you can get in the moment, but how we can help you move from where you are to sustainability. And sustainability is where we want to be, where we want the community to be. That's where I was back in 2018. I was homeless, and I needed to find my way to sustainability, and Up Orlando helped me with that.
The first step, though, you know all about that. You had to say to yourself in this low moment of your life, I need at least someone to grab me by the hand and pull me in this direction. Is that accurate?
It is accurate. I was living in a transitional housing program. I had went over to to Up Orlando because I was in crisis. And the crisis navigator there picked up the phone. He got me into a transitional housing program. From there, he said, you know what? I think you'd be a great candidate for the STEP program. Now, I've got 25 years experience as an executive assistant. I've worked in corporate America. I have a really strong foundation. However, when I went into that program, I learned something that was remarkable, that it's not about the I and the you, it's about the we and the us. What happens is you have people from all walks of life coming together and figuring out how do we work together in building those skills and the job training skills as well. We walk out as a group of people who connect, but not just with each other, but we're able to connect now in the community a whole lot much better.
And I want to talk about that future, but I want to talk about the past first. So you had all of those tools to be successful, yet you found yourself in a situation of homelessness. That had to be a shock to your system.
It was. I am an addiction recovery survivor, and for a large part of my life, I allowed drugs to control my life. And it came a point where it had devastated my life, and I needed to get out of that. I struggled for years in it, and once I finally did the healing that I needed to do, all of the help that I received then took root, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I could now become stable in my life, where even if something was to happen, I wouldn't give up. I'd keep going. And recently I've had to go back to Up Orlando for support. And that's one thing I love about Up Orlando, is because once you walk through their doors, you can always walk through their doors. Mm-hmm. And they helped me, and now my life is stable.
All right, that's wonderful. We're going to continue with these discussions, and we'll also talk about how people can get help that need it. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Central Florida Spotlight. We're talking with an amazing group that's mission has not gotten smaller but bigger. They have programs like their member share grocery, crisis stabilization, and success training employment program. You just heard moments ago about STEP and what it is doing. Let's bring in now, if we could, again, Carla Cox, the Director of Operations at the Christian Service Center. And you just heard Lamont's story. You see those stories all the time. It really touched my heart when I heard from him, and I'm certain that's the kind of motivation when you hear those stories that keep you all working so hard.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that we love to see is someone who really takes ownership of their next best steps, and then being able to have great partners like United Against Poverty to be able to connect them to, so that they can actually make that next best step forward.
All right, so for our viewers at home, many people, when they watch the show, want to know, how do I get help, but also how do I give help? Is there an easy way for that to happen?
Yeah, so let's start with the how do I get help. The first thing is simply picking up the phone or getting on the bus or making your way to one of the many campuses throughout Central Florida that is here ready to help and serve you. You can walk into pretty much any of the service providers here in town and just say, I need help with this. We're very well connected, we're very well resourced, and we do our best to match you with the other service providers that we know can best meet your needs in the community. The other is very simple. When you come by, when you stop in, when you pick up the phone and give us a call, simply ask, what is the thing you need the most today? We all know. We know what our needs are, whether my pantry is low on diapers, or we really need some PB&J right now, or I need some helping hands to come serve a meal today. We know all of that, and it changes a little bit every day based off of what donations we receive, what help is already scheduled to arrive, and what donations that we've already anticipated are on the way.
Carly, at the very beginning, I talked about, we've had a lot of difficult times, whether it was job loss back in the mid-2000s, COVID, and now government shutdown, and the price of groceries has gone up, employment and wages have not kept up. Are we in a crisis right now?
I think the word crisis is something that gets thrown around often right now, but it's also the most accurate word that we have to describe what we're seeing as boots on the ground providers in this space. We are seeing costs of groceries increase, people uncertain if they're going to receive their SNAP benefits or not, having to make those critical personal decisions of, do I pay for groceries or do I pay for rent? And not knowing what they can put on a credit card, what can be held off for a later date, or what needs to be paid immediately today. So when we talk about a government shutdown, we talk about the ripple effects we're going to be seeing for months. It doesn't just get a budget passed and we get to move forward today. we know families are making those financial decisions that are going to last for months.
So to have an organization take the lead and then have others, and the Christian Service Center has been around what feels like to me forever. You all have been there walking us through all of the various difficulties that we've had, and those can range from losing a job to losing a house to, physical problems or emotional. You just don't turn anyone away there, and that I just love how just always the door is open. It's really a neat organization that you particularly are a part of.
Yeah, not to get too technical, but the terms that we use are low to no barrier, which means all are welcome, regardless of your background, regardless of your situation, regardless of your circumstance. So the Christian Service Center has kind of been we've established this reputation of serving the people that are the hardest to serve, the ones who might have these challenges that are so overwhelming that it's hard for other providers to be able to provide that direct assistance. And so on our campus, it's not just the Christian Service Center. We're co-located with other partners. So we have the Hope Team, who's providing outreach. We have Orange Blossom Family Health, providing excellent medical and behavior health care. We have Straight Street, who is there providing 3 meals a day, 5 days a week. Without those partnerships, this just doesn't work. And so we're happy to serve the least of these in our community and make sure that they have a place that they can hopefully call home very soon.
Well, on behalf of Central Florida, thank you to the Christian Service Center. You guys have been helping people for decades and decades, and we just appreciate that as a community.
Thank you.
Hopefully you feel that love.
I do.
All right.
We do.
And that will do it for this week's edition of Central Florida Spotlight. Thank you to all of our guests. And if you need more information, you can go to our website, WFTV.com. And thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and take care.